Beautiful day out here this morning, Sunday morning, 7:30 a.m. in the morning, sun shining, clear skies, little sweat going on, pre-workout. What that say? United States Army. Man, I told you guys in one of my previous videos, I always have to have something on my body that represent my story in life. When I get tired, when I'm out here running, when I'm out here working out, I look at this. I look straight down at that. And I can tell you, man, being in the Army, being in the military, it ain't no slacking. It ain't no giving up. I done been through a lot. So, I'm disciplined now. I'm conditioned. Man, my body want more. Every day. So in this content, I just want to talk to you guys out there and tell you guys my opinions on why freight brokerages and dispatch companies, you rarely hear that a freight brokerage or a dispatching company has went out of business. And it's pretty common that you guys will hear trucking companies going out of business. So today, I'm just gonna give you guys my views and my opinions on why I believe freight brokerages and dispatching companies can last a lifetime if you operate it the right way. Now, when it comes to a trucking company, it's a lot of variables. So I know you guys already know, for the most part, why trucking companies go out of business and why dispatching companies and freight brokerages potentially can stay in business a little bit longer. So in this content, I just want to share with you guys, man, my views and my opinions. So I'm about to go and get back to my run, work me up a good sweat, and I'm gonna resume this content. Hey, every day the same to me. A Sunday is a Monday. A Tuesday is a Friday. I'm gonna tell y'all out there, man, when it comes down to the days of the week, when you're a business owner, you lose track. You lose track of time, and you lose track of the days of the week. Days of the week means nothing. Man, y'all better get out there, and y'all better get to it. Listening what I'm listening to. R.I.P. to Nick. R.I.P. Speaking that business, speaking that life. You know, that's my motivation. Sometimes people wake up in the morning, they email me, they talk to me throughout the day, and they say these videos is motivation to them. That boy Nip inspired me. It ain't no giving up. Only way you could go is up. Let's get to it. Hey, so now I'm gonna roll off into this content about why I believe freight brokerages and dispatch companies, you'll rarely hear that they go out of business. I mean, you're gonna always hear trucking companies, especially these big trucking companies. And I know you guys heard, what was that, maybe some months back, Celadon, shut down their company. Then you heard about, all of these other small, medium, potentially large trucking companies going out of business in 2019. And there's plenty of factors, when it comes to trucking companies going out of business. Now, when it comes to freight brokerages and dispatching companies going out of business, you guys can go Google it or whatever it is. And I guarantee you that you won't get too many results about freight brokerages and dispatching companies going out of business. And yes, I know you guys can ask the question, well, maybe freight brokerages and dispatch companies are not as common or known in the industry, so maybe you won't see too many stories about dispatching companies and freight brokerages going out of business as what you would see in the trucking industry. I mean, if you own an actual trucking company, or seeing those trucking companies going out of business. But the thing about this is, and I believe this is just a pure fact, but like I say, it's just my opinion, but it's a fact in my world, is that a trucking company is like a restaurant and any other type of brick and mortar type of businesses. you know, so I'm just speaking on business right now, and I'm speaking on overhead, you know. So trucking is no different from, you know, a restaurant or a brick and mortar type of business. You guys have to hustle every day and every month to really cover overhead. And then once you cover overhead, you guys can actually start profiting. And the only reason why, like I always tell you guys, I'm able to speak on these topics is because I actively do it, you know, and I actively run these type of companies. I have a trucking company, but also, as you guys know, I broker freight and I dispatch. I have a dispatching company too. So now I'm able to compare, you know, all of these different businesses that I have my hands in the trucking industry, just to give you guys some valuable information out there. So like I say, right now, we're just talking overhead. Every month, being a owner of a trucking company, you guys have to hustle every month just to pay overhead, you know. So truck note, trailer note, commercial insurance, paying the driver, unexpected maintenance, fuel, hotel costs, you know, that's just to name a few. Now, we're not talking about just everything else, you know, that could be small when it comes to overhead. Load board access is another, you know, piece of your overhead. ELD. I mean, the list goes on. Some of you guys have all of these additional other type of services out there that you don't even need, you know, but you're just adding it on to your overhead. So owning a trucking company, it's a lot of overhead involved, but it's a lot of money still to be made in a trucking company. But like I tell you guys, what really dictates your profit in the trucking industry is fuel and maintenance costs. And also, how is your driver? You know, because your driver is the one that's going to make you the money too. But you see, it's too many variables, you know, when it comes to overhead. Now let's talk about my freight brokerage business. When I first started, I started my freight brokerage for under $2,000. My surety bond was $1,600, which that is covered for the whole year. $1,600 up front, I'm good for the remainder of the year. BOC3 to get it activated was $30. MC application fee, $300. So I started my freight brokerage for under $2,000, right? Which the freight brokerage, you're gonna make a lot of money, but you guys have to get established, you know. So there's going to be some of you guys out there who want to broker freight and actually want to start your freight brokerage business, but it's not going to be easy. I could tell you guys that for a fact. Anything in life, when it has low overhead, but you guys can see a lot of money, you know, when it comes to profiting, it's not going to be easy, because it means that you have to sell something. You know, it means that you have to sell your service. So as a freight brokerage, you have to sell your service to the shipping companies out here, so and manufacturers, so that they could start giving you freight to broker, you know. So, but once you're able to get established in this business, man, it's a lot of money to be made. But hey, some of you guys out there, you really don't have that true hustle in you, you know. And I'm talking about that hustle to sell something, you know, to sell yourself, to sell a product, to sell that service. So if you're not able to sell yourself, you would never grow that freight brokerage. So I guarantee you, once you grow that freight brokerage, you guys will remain consistent, as long as that actual shipper or manufacturer is in business. Now, don't get me wrong, there will be sometimes shippers and manufacturers might go out of business, then you might lose them as clients. But hey, jump back on, start cold calling, start visiting some shippers out here, start walking in, shaking hands, meeting and greeting, and I guarantee you guys will acquire another shipper and just keep replacing shippers if they so happen to fall off your book of business out there. So I just kind of got off on a little rant about broker and freight right there. But back on the financial side, it's very little overhead for me. Every month, only thing I pay for every month is load board access, which is DAT Express. That's $125 a month. I pay for my ITS dispatch, which I use for my TMS system, you know, through Truck Stop, and also I have a load board access through Truck Stop. We could say my actual overhead for my freight brokerage every month could be about $300. Excuse me. And then also some of you guys out there might get contingent cargo insurance and might pay into a premium for that. But I just pay per load, you know, so I don't really have an actual premium set up for contingent cargo insurance. First off, I believe as a freight broker, having contingent cargo insurance is pretty absurd. Anyway, because that truck driver in a trucking company is the one who is supposed to be carrying that cargo insurance, that 100,000 cargo insurance policy and that $1 million general liability, you know. So sometimes shippers require freight brokers to have contingent cargo insurance, but I don't pay any premiums. That's unnecessary overhead to me. I'll just pay per load. So if you guys want to know how I do that, hit me up, man. Send me an email, broker@managedtrans.com, and ask that question on how I just pay per load. I don't pay any premiums. So right there, I'm letting you guys know the overhead is super low. So meaning that I don't have to hustle hard every month on my freight brokerage business to just see a profit or to start paying overhead, you know. So that's the goal in life. The goal is to always decrease the actual overhead to increase your profit, you know. So that's just a little bit of business knowledge right there, and you could take that business knowledge right there and apply it to any business out here, any industry, you know, in this world. Low overhead. So, and always figure out how can you decrease that overhead to increase your profit. And starting a trucking company and owning a trucking company is really no way around it, you know, to be honest. You know, it's going to be a lot of money. It's going to be involved into actually owning a trucking company, like I mentioned and listed all of those different you know, bills that you guys have to pay and your overhead in your trucking company earlier. And the same thing applies to dispatching companies too. So that's why you will rarely hear that a freight brokerage or a dispatching company is going out of business, is because, man, it's like you have a business as being a freight brokerage in a dispatching company, but how can it really go out of business when you think about it? You know, the only way a freight brokerage and a dispatching company could go out of business, in my opinion, is you're going to go out of business before you even start the business. And by me saying that means that you would never even get your business off the ground. You might start at an LLC and you might, you know, went through some trainings, or you might tried to get out here to acquire your business, but you were unsuccessful because of the lack of consistency. More than likely is because you're not being consistent. So that means, yeah, your freight brokerage and your dispatching company might go out of business then, you know, because you're going to go out of business before you even start the business. But I'm confident. One thing about me is I'm a confident guy, and I'm confident that you guys out there, as long as you be consistent on the brokering and dispatching, and I'm talking about getting your business going, and that means acquiring your owner operators as a dispatcher, acquiring your shippers as a freight broker. I don't see how you guys could go out of business, to be honest, you know, because to me, going out of business means that you are making less money and profiting less money every month and every year than what you're actually putting out. You know what I'm saying? So that means that your overhead you might make $500,000 this year, but you end up spending the same. You know, you might spend $500,000, put it right back into the business, all overhead. So how are you going to be in business then if every dollar that's coming in is pretty much going out? That's pretty absurd. And that's why I'm glad I started a trucking company first, to be honest with you guys, because it has taught me a lot about business. You know, it's taught me a lot about the importance of business and overhead. And overhead is the key to any business out here. That is what's going to determine your failures and your successes out here. So that's why I believe that dispatching and freight brokerages will remain, you know, in business. As long as you guys can actually get out here and acquire the business, you guys will remain in business, you know. So I just want to put this video out there to you guys, and I don't want to discourage any one of you out there from starting that trucking company, but I want you guys to understand that when you do start that trucking company out there, figure out a way to decrease your overhead. And one way that you guys can add some revenue to your actual trucking company business is to go find you some highly qualified owner operators that are willing to lease on to your company, and then start making a percentage off of their truck. And as long as they're happy running under you, and as long as they're making money, that's all that counts. You know, that's what matters, is making money. So go find you some highly qualified, and you hear me, highly qualified owner operators to lease on to your company out there. And then that's going to bring you additional income. Multiple streams of income, additional sources of revenue is the key out here. So if you guys have any questions out there, feel free to hit me on my email, broker@manixtrans.com. Go visit my website, www.extraordinarymovement.com. Go get your 30-day free trial with DAT. Go sign up with TAFS, Trans and Financial Services. Everything is in the description box below with the links and the details. Go click it if you want 30-day free trial with DAT, or go sign up with TAFS if you're looking for a factoring service out there. CEO, commit, execute, and be obsessed. Everybody be great out there.